At its peak, one empire ruled 44% of every human being on Earth, larger than Rome ever was. It built the first highway network, minted a universal currency, and authored what some call the oldest charter of human rights. Yet nearly everything you know about it came from the people who wanted it destroyed. This is the civilization history tried to erase, beginning with one man nobody saw coming. Imagine nearly half the world's people answering to a single ruler. The Achaemenid Persian Empire, at its height, ruled over about 44% of every living soul, more than any other empire before or since. That's not a legend or a wild guess. Ancient tax records, lists of households, and grain rations from Persepolis and Babylon let modern scholars piece together a population close to 49 million people around 480 BC. Now zoom out and picture a map. The empire stretched from the edge of Greece across the deserts of Egypt, through the mountains of Iran, all the way to the Indus River in modern Pakistan, covering about 7.5 million square kilometers. That's 1.5 times the size of Rome at its peak. Here is the first shock. If you lived on Earth during the reign of Darius or Xerxes, there was almost a 1 in 2 chance you were a subject of the Persian king. No other ancient empire came close. Rome, at its biggest, held just under 30% of the world's people. Han China held a little less. But the Persians, with a patchwork of languages, religions, and cities, managed to knit together a realm that spanned 3 continents. How did they keep so many millions connected, let alone under control, without the internet or even paper? And why do so few people today know the name of the empire that once ruled almost everyone? The answers are stranger than you think. Cyrus started life as a nobody. Born to a minor Persian clan in a land ruled by the mighty Medes, he should have faded into history. Instead, he rewrote it. Around 550 BCE, Cyrus turned on his own overlord, King Astyages of Media. The odds were stacked against him. His people were outnumbered, outgunned, and by every measure supposed to stay in their place. But Cyrus saw the cracks in the old order. Discontent simmered among the tribes. The Median king's own allies began to slip away. Cyrus moved fast, rallying not just Persians, but Medes and other restless groups into a single, unstoppable force. The final showdown came at Ecbatana, the Median stronghold. Ancient Babylonian records etched in clay do not bother with legends. They simply state that the Persians rebelled, Astyages was captured, and Cyrus took the throne. No dramatic speeches, no epic duels, just a sudden world-changing coup. Within a few years, Cyrus was more than a king. He was the architect of a new empire. He founded Pasargadae, a city built from scratch to be the heart of his realm. Archaeologists have uncovered the simple, powerful tomb he left there, a stone rectangle, nothing like the golden monuments of Egypt. It is proof that the man who conquered kingdoms wanted to be remembered without glitter or lies. Cyrus's rise was not just about war. He mastered alliances, respected local customs, and won the loyalty of former enemies. In a single generation, he stitched together a realm so vast and diverse that the world had never seen anything like it. But as his empire exploded outward, a new problem appeared. How do you govern millions of strangers, scattered from the edge of Greece to the deserts of Central Asia, without chaos? A letter could travel from the Persian king's palace all the way to the far edge of his empire, over 2,600 kilometers in just 7 days. The secret was the royal road. Darius built a relay network of mounted couriers, with fresh horses waiting at each station. No other ancient civilization moved information this fast. It was the world's first express mail, centuries before Rome even dreamed of its own roads. Money, too, was transformed. The Persians minted the gold daric, 8.4 grams of nearly pure gold, stamped with the king's own image. Merchants could trade the same coin from Egypt to India, knowing its value was guaranteed. Imagine a single currency working across 3 continents in a world where most kingdoms still weighed out silver dust or bartered grain. And then there were the Immortals, 10,000 elite soldiers, always at full strength. If one fell in battle, another took his place so quickly that enemies believed their numbers never changed. The Greeks called them the Immortals because to outside eyes they seemed endless, a living wall of spears and shields. How did a king in ancient Iran manage to keep a realm this big, this organized, and this rich running like clockwork? What other secrets of Persian power have we forgotten? If you thought Rome was the model of ancient sophistication, think again. The Persians did it first, on a scale the world had never seen. Share this story, and let the lost empire speak for itself. Greek writers had the last word on Persia, and they made sure the story stuck. Herodotus, writing decades after the Persian Wars, did not just record battles, he spun the Persians into villains. In his histories, the Persians march as a faceless horde, ruled by kings who demand earth and water, while Greeks stand for freedom. Xenophon, a soldier and philosopher, took it further. His Cyropaedia painted Persian leaders as wise, but always as a warning: power corrupts, and even Cyrus's empire was doomed to decay. These were not just stories, they were propaganda, crafted by men whose cities had nearly been wiped off the map by Xerxes. Pride in Greek victory against impossible odds needed a monster on the other side. But here is the twist. Almost everything we know about ancient Persia comes from these Greek sources. The Persians wrote their own records in cuneiform and Old Persian, but few survived. Greek texts were copied, recopied, and treasured through centuries, while Persian archives burned with Persepolis. The result? Western memory of Persia is filtered through the eyes of its fiercest rivals. Imagine if the only stories about your country were written by your enemies. What if the empire we have been taught to fear was actually more tolerant, more advanced, and more complex than the legends say? Who gets to write history, and who gets erased? Alexander's army stormed through Persepolis in 330 BCE, and what happened next wiped out centuries of memory in a single night. Flames tore through the royal palaces, devouring cedar beams and melting gold treasures into rivers of metal. Greek and Macedonian soldiers smashed statues, ripped jewels from the walls, and filled their carts with anything that would fit. But the worst loss was not the gold, it was the archives. Thousands of clay tablets inscribed in cuneiform and Elamite recorded everything from tax rolls to the secrets of imperial rule. Most were turned to dust or fused into unreadable lumps by the heat. Only a fraction survived, buried beneath rubble for more than 2,000 years. The official histories, the voices of the empire's own scribes, vanished almost overnight. Why does the Persian side of the story sound so faint today? Because the fire at Persepolis didn't just destroy a city. It erased the empire's memory, leaving only the words of its conquerors. What stories were lost forever in that blaze? A clay cylinder, no bigger than a loaf of bread, holds a secret most textbooks never mention. The Cyrus Cylinder, buried in Babylon for over 2,000 years, spells out a policy almost unheard of in the ancient world. Conquered peoples could go home, rebuild their temples, and worship their own gods. This wasn't just talk. After taking Babylon in 539 BCE, Cyrus ordered exiled communities, including the Jews, to return to Jerusalem and restore their sanctuary. The text on the cylinder reads, "I returned to these sacred cities, the sanctuaries of which had been in ruins." But it didn't stop there. Persian kings set up a network of royal inspectors known as the King's Eyes, who traveled from province to province checking on governors and making sure the king's law reached every corner. Think of them as the world's first government auditors, watching the watchers centuries before modern oversight. What if the idea of basic rights and checks on power didn't start in Greece or Rome, but in ancient Persia? The DNA of the Achaemenid Empire runs through the way countries talk about tolerance, justice, and even the right to return home after war. If you thought empires only ruled by fear, share this story and let the world know who wrote the first rules of freedom. Right now, few know the first Bill of Rights came from ancient Persia, not Greece. The world's oldest highway was built by Persian engineers, not Romans, and the empire's currency touched 3 continents. So what else have we accepted from the winner's version of history? Share this and let the world ask.